Sean and Joe, another episode ready to go. They're gonna talk about the good and the trash and anything in between. Cherishing make-believe, get ready for Halloween. It's the horror show. I know you missed those guys. Tune in and find out what's on their list tonight. They butcher and dissect, take apart and mutilate. Listen to your two favorite brainiacs communicate. It's the horror show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Horror Show. A show that dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror-related events. I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
Hey, Joe. Welcome.
You just asked me if I was ready to record, and I should have opened the can, but instead I'm just going to do it right into our listeners.
You pop that, Stone Cold style, brother.
What's going on, man?
Wait, what did Buzz chant? Do it, do.
Oh, no, dude, that would honestly have been acceptable. Should I just go into the audience? Story? yeah. I mean, because there's some rhyme or reason to a chant, you know. He was just screaming, "Do it!" at the top. It was more like Sam Kinison in Back to School, where she's like, "Do it, do it." Like he's doing like this kid's doing something. So should I just go into it?
Yeah, let's background it because everyone's probably super confused and not laughing like we are.
All right, so this is gonna come back to us, you know.
Yeah, that's fine.
So our buddy Buzz, he turned his backyard into a wiffle ball field. So they play wiffle ball all the time, and then he somehow got a PA system so he could announce people coming to the plate.
Correct.
Which it's like they're 3-on-3 wiffle ball games, and they're fucking wiffle ball games. You know, you don't need a PA system. But also, he's older than us, and I'm 35. But anyway, the kid gets fucking the dude gets fucking amped when people drink. For whatever reason. So one person came down as he was announcing them with 2 open beers in his hand and a stupid shit-eating grin because the kid's also a fucking oaf. And just smashed them together and Buzz is just screaming, "Do it! Do it!" Like it's like this some fucking unheard of feat that this kid's gonna. He's literally just spilling beer and just pouring it all over himself like a fucking idiot.
Also, as if he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, he already started doing it. He was screaming it halfway through. Just making a mess. I would honestly have asked him to leave if it was my house. What the fuck are you doing? 33 years old, spilling 2 beers all over your face, walking that way. Go fucking swing a baseball bat and go the fuck home. Are you kidding me? Making a mess. Anyway, what's up, man?
What's up? I'm excited. I'm a little drunk. I had a bunch of wine tonight. I'm really excited, though. This episode... Joe, I'm so excited for this episode. I've been excited for 2 days, basically. 2 full days. I watched it yesterday morning. Oh, man. And this wasn't our first choice. I guess we should announce it, what the movie is, because we left it on
a lot of people don't know. Yeah.
A lot
of people don't.
We're doing Castle Freak Remake 2020 edition.
Yes. See, I'm a little nervous because this is the first time I've done this for the show. I watched the movie, and then I messaged Sean. I was like, dude, I'm so mad that we're not doing this movie because I just finished it. It's fucking ridiculous. And then Sean's just like, let's do it. And I'm like, I'm not going to watch it again. I just fucking finished it. So I didn't take a single note. Everything I'm just trying to recall from memory. But there's some scenes that are so vivid I could talk about very, very easily, so I'm not that nervous. But yeah, this is the first time I've ever watched a movie, and then we just decided to do it after.
Yeah, I rewatched it because I had seen it a few weeks ago, and I really wasn't paying 100% attention to it, which is fucking crazy because I missed one of the most absurd scenes of all time, and I didn't realize it. Fucking unbelievable. And I saw, by the way, I was an advocate for 2 of the most ridiculous scenes in movie history, and somehow missed a third. So, this is available on Shudder. This is a Shudder movie?
Yes, it is. Produced by Charles Band and our girl, Barbara Crampton.
Barbara Crampton somehow got roped into this fucking hornet's nest.
It's funny, when I met Barbara, I asked if she had any Castle Freak merch that... This is before the show, before we were doing the show. I was just like, do you have any Castle Freak things? And I remember because I was with Tina, she looked at both of us and she's like, "You guys know Castle Freak?" Yeah, I fucking love Castle Freak. She's like, "No, I don't have any Castle Freak."
This is a movie. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this thing. So this is a movie. They pulled the old. By the way, we did a Patreon bonus. Oh wait, I should also make an announcement. Our merch is up. Store.IHateHorror.com. Buy our merch. Or shop.IHateHorror.com. Whatever. Merch is up. Sweatshirts, t-shirts, pins. The sweatshirts are pre-order only though. So if you want a sweatshirt package, the only way to get it is here. The pins are limited because they're already made. So if you want these things, hop on it now. Because I don't know if they'll be available. T-shirts, we'll have some available after the fact. But pins and sweatshirts, get on it right now.
I just want to highlight how awesome our fans are. I truly mean that. Our fans are like the fucking greatest. We just had a Instagram live like we do on Sundays before we record.
Yeah.
And you literally announced in that live like the things were going up. And then as soon as we signed off, people were like, "Hey, I just ordered like everything you guys have." Like it's already sending us messages and like receipts. It's like, holy shit.
It's insane.
Much appreciated.
It's so many orders already. It's fucking nuts. So thank you guys so much. And yeah, again, like you might want to hop on that. The t-shirt, the sweatshirts won't sell out, but the pins will, which thinking about that now might be a problem. Anyway, of how I set it up, but whatever, just place orders. I'll figure it out. But anyway, also patreon.com/IHateHorror. Oh, fuck. I forgot to give like the Patreon members their discount. All right, guys. So if you notice a random blip there, we both realized two things, and we both had to take care of some shit. So everything's fixed now. So where I was going with my thought, I think originally was for our Patreon members, patreon.com/IHateHorror. We just did a bonus episode where we talked about the movie Bloodshot.
Yes.
The director of that was the visual effects artist for like all the Marvel movies.
Okay.
Did you know that or no?
I did not.
So it seems like they're kind of going, it reminds me for some reason of like the NFL, right? Where they're like, hey, you know who would make a good head coach? This random defensive coordinator. And it never works. I mean, sometimes it does, but it is a fucking random thing, right? And it seems like that's the way these movies are going a little bit too. We saw it in Terrified. Is it Terrified? The one with fucking idiot Art the Clown?
Yeah.
Special effects artist, right?
Yeah.
Bloodshot, visual effects artist. And this movie, another special effects artist.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, right? I don't know.
It is.
They're like, it's probably just like, hey, it's 2 for the price of 1. Unfortunately, it never fucking works. So, Castle Freak. Castle Freak is directed by Tate Steinsiek, who did a lot of special effects, including The Amazing Spider-Man.
It's crazy. I don't honestly want to insult this guy, but this movie, because The Amazing Spider-Man. Oh wait. Okay, so this The Amazing Spider-Man with
yes, sir.
Andrew Garfield.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
not Homecoming. I was thinking Homecoming.
Here's the thing.
Well, listen, that movie was fine. You know,
and the special effects are fine. But I feel like when you're on these larger movies, there's probably like 8,000 special effects guys, right? It's not just like...
It's not just you.
It's not a horror movie where it's like, hey, we got Tom Savini. He's going to do fucking everything.
Right.
There's 8 million of them working on it, and most of it's CGI. So,
but that being said, that's my biggest problem with this movie is that it was filmed like a fucking Cinemax.
Oh, so
porno,
bad.
A softcore porno. I think you're the one that said that to me.
Yeah,
it's like it has like the off coloring, like honestly, like what the Playboy Channel used to look like in the '90s. It's just fucking weird, like colors that don't really make sense. And it's like, why is it being filmed like this?
Dude, what in 2020? And it was something that always like fascinates me is how do you film it that way? Like, what are you using
exactly.
that they use? That like, what does this? Because It's clearly avoidable.
Agreed. That was like the fucking movie with the high school kids that died in the car accident. We just did it a couple of weeks ago. The kid works in a morgue.
And yeah, you were really upset about the red lights.
Yeah, like the blue light, like it's avoidable. Like why? why does this happen? And then that was at least was 91. But even still, like other movies didn't make it like that. But like, why is this happening? Why is this happening in 2020? And it's not like shot on video film. It has the backing of Shudder and Barbara Crampton and fucking Charles Band, who the guy's released 50,000 movies this year. He should like they can't all look like this.
And also, this is a Fangoria film. Our buddies over at Fangoria somehow, I don't know how they got a hold of this.
Well then,
but they're a part of it. Castle Freak 2020. It was directed by. It has been billed as a reboot of the 1995 Stuart Gordon film of the same name, which is a loose adaptation of The Outsider by H.P. Lovecraft, which my understanding is it's nothing like this.
So I've never read The Outsider, but that was like it was like the loose because we did the original one, right? We did that together, and I think we had the same conversation, if not on episode, like to each other beforehand.
Yeah,
and how Stuart Gordon found like 2 words to like adapt.
Dude, that's what it was.
This is a loose adaptation.
That's what it was. He like strung together a couple thoughts from it and was like, "Yeah, the classic H.P. Lovecraft tale, Castle Freak."
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say about this movie. I'll give this movie some credit at the beginning of this before we get into it. I think the idea that they put together, let me rephrase that. The overall idea of it, and I mean like really overview, bird's eye view of this is a good idea, I think. I genuinely believe doing a younger audience, teenagers, kind of adapting it to like the teenage horror film, I think it works. But I don't think they did it in any way correctly.
So I would agree, except that the reveal at the end, the last act, is honestly one of the more idiotic things I've ever fucking seen. It has to be the same people that were involved with the Black Christmas remake, writing this, because like why was there a cult involved at the end?
None of it really makes sense. Let's see what this fucking writer did. What do you think? Do you think she made anything before this? Of course not. She did not. This is her first writing of a film.
I mean, Sean,
why are we doing this?
We've been jumping ahead a lot in our episodes, and honestly, quite frankly, I like it.
I do too.
Talking about it in the morning. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I was hallucinating, but is there not a cult of Castle Freaks at the very end? Including one with the fucking beard.
Like a Mudvayne Castle Freak. Yeah. There's a Mudvayne Castle Freak at the end. But that's actually a flashback. And then a new cult arises at the end.
Right. That's honestly irrelevant. Why? Why is there why does there need to be more than one Castle Freak ever?
So
he's just a fucking Castle Freak.
I'm going to give Joe credit on this because Joe did not know we were doing it for the show when he did it. And I rewatched it having to pay attention. I will tell you right now, when I watched it the first time, I have all these same questions. But I think I have some answers for you. And they're not good answers, by the way. They're awful answers. They still make no sense whatsoever, Joe. But there's
I get that there's like the Yog Saga, which made me laugh because of fucking Elliot. Like, I get that they explain that. I guess my question is just a more
general. They talk about that?
Oh yeah.
I thought the Lovecraft stuff that they like tried to like, you know, like subtly throw in there was so silly and stupid. Like a Cthulhu statue in a church.
It was. It was. Sean, there's so many Lovecraft references to this.
It's insane.
There's like the Miskatonic University. But yeah, what was the person saying? Lavinia or whatever?
Yeah,
was that the freak's name?
I can't believe you know that. That's fucking insane. Dude, yes, it's Lavinia.
Sean, she was impregnated by her father as a ritual to Yog-Sothoth.
Oh.
But going back to my original question, it's a much broader sense of why. Why did somebody watch the first Castle Freak and be like, you know what? Instead of just having a fucking freak that lives in a castle, let's give them an entire clan of like freaks that are just all look like this.
It honestly pisses me off.
It's fucking idiotic, Sean. That's why Castle Freak works, because they're not a thing. There's just one fucking Castle Freak. Like,
right.
This poor freak has been locked in a castle and like deprived of all human decency.
Right.
That's what makes it terrifying.
Right.
It takes away all the whole element of everything for me to make it like a clan of castle freaks that just want to resurrect Yog-Sothoth. Are you fucking kidding me?
Which again is like, so I guess this kind of all ties together here. So the whole idea of making this a teen movie works if you base it on the original movie, I think, right? Like, update the original movie, make it a teen, not slasher, but you know what I mean? Like a teen horror flick.
Yes.
That works. I'm fine with that, updating that. That's cool. Why are they even, as we discussed, again, it's not even, like, Lovecraft, like, did not write this fucking story. So why bother being like, we're going to make a Lovecraft multiverse? And we're going to start with this movie or story that he did not even fucking write.
And did you see the after credit?
Oh my God, I didn't.
Sean.
Wait. Wait, are you serious?
They're 100% trying to start a multiverse.
Oh, I mean, I read that. They were like, yeah, I can't wait for the fucking next part of this.
Well, dude, there's an after credit scene, and
I'm gonna pull it up while we're talking.
Some guy walks in, and he's like, "Hey there, West," which is an homage to Herbert West from Reanimator, Jeffrey Combs' character.
Right.
So they're in our Patreon episode, we literally just talked about how Sony was trying to do the Dark Universe and how it just fucking sucked until the end. Then every time in the after credit, they would just like name drop somebody, which would make you be like, "Ah, fuck, I guess I'll have to sit through the next one." Like, that's like their game plan here too.
Which, like, God, it's so silly. It's such a silly formula. Like, just do something unique. However, it does work. Like, I don't know. Are you caught up on the King Kong, Godzilla movies?
I didn't watch the most recent one that came out.
The most recent King Kong?
Didn't one come out last year, a Godzilla movie?
Oh, yeah, it was fucking great.
Was it?
Yeah, it was fucking phenomenal. But dude, those after credit things that they're like hyping up that universe, I'm all in for. Give me all of that.
I agree. When they did Kong Skull Island and then like the after credit showed like just cave drawings of the other like
cave drawings of Mothra and Godzilla.
Yeah.
That's
all I need.
I fucking screamed. I
I'm the same, dude. But it works. It works because Dark Universe did that too. Like they'll just be like, here comes the Phantom of the Opera. I'm like, oh fuck, now I gotta watch the next one.
Oh my God, I love the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Which I would say if I saw it, but like, was Herbert West played by what's his name?
Was it?
Sweaty guy, Jeffrey Combs. Sweaty Jeffrey Combs. Did you see him or no? I feel like it was a younger. Once you said it, I feel like I've seen the picture of it, and I think it's like a younger guy.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's Jeffrey Combs. Listen, I'm trying to like rack my brain if they did that. Imagine the movie looks like shit because they spent it all to de-age Jeffrey
Dude,
Combs.
oh my god, I would laugh so hard. Oh my god, fucking Star Wars style or fucking Avengers style. Fucking spent $3 million de-aging Jeffrey Combs. A guy who looked like 50 at the time. Anyway. Oh my god. I'm still trying to pull that up. All right, so you want to get into this flick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. It's 10 o'clock, so might as fucking well start the fucking show. Castle Freak 2020. This movie is different. It's different. We start out with a nun. I can't really remember the original as well as I wish I did. So anyone that chooses to email me, being like, actually, in the original that did happen, I'm going to delete it. I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to respond. I'm going off the best I can do right here. So
I just want to highlight to listeners how near and dear the original is to my heart. Like, and I mean that sincerely. Like, the original Castle Freak means so much to me as a horror fan because I'm sure I said it in the first episode. It is so stupid to love a movie like Castle Freak this much. But I distinctly remember going up to Cape Cod where my grandparents lived in the summer of 95 when Castle Freak came out, or the fall. It doesn't matter. It was 95. And they had HBO. Nobody I knew had HBO. And my parents and my grandparents all fell asleep. And I remember putting it on and watching Castle Freak and being just completely glued to the screen that this was a real fucking thing I was watching. so Castle Freak, and it's honestly that it's never left my mind. And Castle Freak is like a top 10 movie for me because of that time when I watched it. And it just like made me infatuated with finding other movies that were so fucking stupid and ridiculous. Like
that's amazing. I mean, that's a great reason. I mean, I think that's a great reason. I actually now love Castle Freak because of the show, to be honest with you. The love that episode has is crazy. People love that episode so much.
That's actually like one of the episodes where like I started feeling like people actually listen to us because I remember getting messages about it. Like shout out Dave over in the Isle of Man. I know
Isle of Man. So here, okay, sorry, I'm watching the credits. All right. That was like people loved that episode and I know people put it in their top tier episodes for a long time. Although it appears everyone is saying that our new episodes are the top now, which is crazy, but
that's great.
Yeah, no, appreciate that. So it actually does hold like a special place in my heart and I do really like it in ways, you know, in idiotic ways, but in ways. In ways. And this one tries to do, for whatever reason, if you're going to change it as much as you do, I don't think you need to really keep anything. Like, you know, but they tried to keep some things the same. So we open up with the nun with the cat o' nine tails. Now, this is similar. Not the same, but very similar. And she's taken off all of her clothes in front of a crucifix, which... For Catholics, all the Catholics and Christians out there, not a thing. Not a thing. There's nothing that tells you to get naked in front of a fucking crucifix. I'm watching the fucking end credit scene now. This fucking character, the professor, who we're about to learn about, is the fucking worst. And actually, quite honestly, I'm surprised they didn't make him Herbert West. Because they never say his name, right?
Agreed. He calls himself the professor.
Which is fucking asinine, which we'll get into, but it's one of the most infuriating things I've ever seen. Okay, so I just watched the fucking end credit scene, so that's going to be fun to talk about later. We get some Castle Freak moaning. She feeds the freak. But then like also is kind of like really pissed off about it. She's just like, "Rawr." It's like, your fate is in God's hands now. It's like, why don't you just not feed it? Right. Like, just fucking kill it. Like, what the fuck why are you feeding it then? Which, fun fact, we'll find out later, makes even more sense that she would have killed it. But that's neither here nor there. She starts whipping the shit out of herself with the cat of nine tails, butt ass naked in front of Jesus. And she dies. We assume from whipping herself, which seemed asinine. But we'll find out there's something else in store for that. Meanwhile, somebody gives Castle Freak the keys to the house. Some fella walks in and just throws some keys at Castle Freak, who lets himself out.
So stupid.
Finds the dead nun. At first appears to mourn her, right? Closes his eyes, her eyes, his eyes, its eyes, and is like, oh, and then caves her head in with fucking like the end of the whip. So I don't know what Castle Freak's feelings are about her, but I think they're sad.
I think I love this movie.
And then it cuts to Castle Freak in huge letters, and then by Fangoria, which like in that opening scene, I'd be like, take my fucking name off that. Like, put it on at the end in the credits. It's fine. Just don't. No. So we cut. That's our freak background, right?
Yeah.
Now we meet our.
Which is so, by the way, it's so unnecessary because we get so much more freak background in this movie.
More freak background than you can fucking shake a stick at.
Anyone would ever, I know I've already ranted about it, but more than anyone would ever need. That's what pisses me off so much. Like, who sits through... There's probably only 4 people on Earth, and they're all involved with this film, that sat through the first Castle Freak and was like, man, I'd really like to know what happened to that freak.
I'd really like to
50
know
years
why. Why is this freak where he is? Who gives a shit? It's a freak.
You're fucking trapped in a castle and fucking starved. Are you kidding me?
And also, again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but Lovecraft was even probably like, I really don't give a fuck about this fucking freak.
Of course you did.
Because I'm starting to remember, I feel like the outsider story was kind of like there was a person in a house that was hiding, right? But that was it.
Okay.
I feel like that's what it was. I feel like I remember that.
Wasn't Lovecraft's MO just unspeakable horrors? Like, you didn't need to... Like, I'm pretty sure that was the phrase he used.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't need to explain things. It was just unspeakable horrors. that and being a racist piece of shit were his 2 biggest MOs. You know?
Oh my god. Where did we ever... I wish we found out... I wish I could find... Because I feel like I had a source for... what... I mean, I guess I should probably go to the original Castle Freak. Fucking Stuart Gordon. Because I feel like I found, like... There was, like, a very clear, like... Hey, this is what was in the... the original movie. This is what is in this movie, and it makes no sense. I wish I could find it, but I fucking can't. Whatever. Forget it. Anyway, we meet our cast in this next scene. To call them unlikable is an understatement. I hated every one of these people. I think they were all awful. I'm not even entirely sure what I was supposed to feel about them. But they're pieces of shit. And in 2020, I'm sorry, smoking and drunk driving is like not an endearing quality in characters. You can't put that shit in a movie in 2020 for your heroes. Like, you can't, like, not heroes, but like even main characters. You don't, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. And like, dude, every scene they were like, give me a fucking light. Dude, this isn't the 80s. And they tried. There were scenes where you're like, oh, they're feeling this. This opening scene looked like a Lost Boys deleted scene. Including the music, which was like saxophone playing, like, and like fucking people like hanging out smoking cigarettes in what appeared to be like an abandoned Louvre museum in France. Giant fucking pyramid.
That's so funny because I made a Lost Boys comment to Tina while we were watching it. Which, by the way, Tina hated this movie so much.
Of course she did. Everyone did. Shout out to Redneck Stomp for calling it one of the worst movies ever made, if not the worst.
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree either. But it's not a great movie. We meet our main couple who are awful. Just fucking awful. Their names are John and Becca. John cheats in front of Becca. John...
But you can't see.
Well, Becca can see in this first one, and he still is cheating on her in front of her. Like, he's like nose to nose with this other girl, and then Becca shows up and is like, hey, you think that's a fucking good idea to cheat on me? And he's like, I don't know. Makes me fucking horny. And she's like, okay. And like, that's what their love is based on. Like the storytelling, that is a fucking plow going near my house that is just, sounds like it is digging up the earth. The writing in this is just fucking unbelievably bad, because these characters, like this guy John, he bounces at the beginning. You're like, oh, I get it. He's the piece of shit, right? Yeah. But then randomly throughout the movie, he's portrayed as like he's not that bad of a guy.
He's the good guy.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't think he's ever like a good guy, but there's scenes where you're like, oh, he's like kind of like a good dude. Like, why have him do that if he's gonna be if he's supposed to be the piece of shit, right?
It's very weird, and they definitely didn't figure him out because he is the piece of shit. Because we'll find out. He is, yeah. We'll find out shortly that she can't see. Becca can't see anymore. Right. It's because he's a fucking asshole who got drunk and drove and caused her to go blind. Which,
like, also, is that like one of the most least impressive car crash scenes you've ever seen in your life?
It was.
So in addition to the couple, we meet a few other people. One of them is the professor. Two of them, I don't know their names because I'm honestly not sure they even say their names in the movie. I'll look it up, their names right now. Their names are not Marku. They're not even credited on fucking Wikipedia. Okay. Fucking whatever. Anyway, we meet a group of their friends who are all awful, but especially this guy, the professor, which you think is a nickname at the beginning, but the number of times they say it is unbelievable. So you don't know if he's actually a professor or not.
Sean, yes, you do. This guy's not a fucking professor.
Okay, fair. But this is where my brain started turning, being like, you could make a teen movie about this, where, guess what? Their professor brings them over to the castle or something. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And like a reason why a professor would have some knowledge of this. Instead, it's just this kid that reads Wikipedia and is like, fucking lizard people, bro. And you're like...
A whole conversation on reptilian politicians, which, by the way, finally.
100% true. 100% true. But the weird part is, like, the shit he's talking about in this moment, multiverses, lizard people, does not qualify him as a smart person. And for whatever reason, for the rest of the movie, we're supposed to trust everything this man says to us. As the Mangle expert, he is the worst Mangle expert on Earth. I wouldn't even call him a Mangle expert. He's just making shit up.
Also, I want to say there's been a couple of listeners who have been messaging me, being like, "Hey, I've been noticing like when you guys talk about something, like it becomes a big thing from like other places, or like people will highlight it." I don't think it's a coincidence that I've been rallying behind the lizard politicians, and then a movie gets made by Fangoria that released a couple months later talking about it in their opening scene.
I'm just saying, all these motherfuckers are stealing from us. Whoever left us the fucking comment railing on me, being like, maybe you're just not original enough. No.
Wait, somebody said that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I don't think I sent it to you. It was like a fucking Podbean thing, and it was based on one of our, they're now bonus episodes because of the copyright shit. But you know how I like rallied off on like fucking people stealing from us?
Oh, yeah.
I went on a fucking tangent. People are like, hey, maybe you're just not that interesting. Or maybe you're just not that original. Dude, I agree with you. I'm not that fucking original. However, how fucking ever, there's people that are fucking stealing from us, like straight up stealing from us.
I want my royalty check from Castle. Dude, I hope they send me a royalty check, like a legitimate one. It'll be like 75 cents.
Joe, how about how about you just send us what we're fucking owed from like fucking Fangoria ads, you fucking mutts. You fucking pieces of shit. Call Ken Hanley. Get Ken Hanley on the phone.
Nice.
You fucking no good fucking rat mutts. Alright. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so they're partying. We got the professor. They're partying. John is just a fucking mess. He's drunk. And we get a drunk driving scene. And, I know this is supposed to make John a bigger piece of shit, right? But they don't ever really make him feel bad for this.
No, it's quite the opposite. He feels like he's almost like entitled the entire time.
Yeah. And he even like there's never a moment where Becca. Okay, so let's talk about the scene first, I guess. He gets in the car, they drive, and he crashes the car, and Becca loses her eyesight in both eyes. There's never a moment where Becca's like, hey, dickhead, remember when you made me blind? Remember when you ruined my fucking life? There's a couple like passing comments about it where she's like, remember, I can't see. And it's like, dude, that would not be my reaction. If the guy that made me blind was like, Becca, I wish you could fucking see this fucking castle. It's unbelievable. Too bad your stupid eyes don't work. What the fuck? The fuck? And Becca's like, yeah, me too. I wish they did work. And it's like, what? The fuck? Like, it's fucking ridiculous. That drunk driving scene too is they have a car crash scene. I wouldn't even call it a crash. I would be hard pressed to call it a crash. The car like veers off and like slides down a hill and does not flip, does not do anything, and just kind of like lands there.
It's like that scene in Dial Code Santa Claus where everybody involved was fine. They just got out. Like, when Santa Claus is chasing the friend.
Oh yeah.
It's like the same type of thing. And Santa Claus rightfully just goes back home afterwards.
Yes. But in this movie, they get out of the car and they're both like, "Rah!" Becca's fucking blind somehow. And fucking John's like, oh, what's going on? The fuck? Like, they didn't get hit by another car. Nothing happened. Becca's screaming she can't see. Cut to who knows how long later. They don't tell us. Just fucking jump cut to the future. But our lovebirds are in Albania.
Yes, because she gets a call saying that she inherited a castle.
She's inherited a castle.
From her mother who gave her up for adoption.
Yeah. And Becca she's blind as a goddamn bat at this point.
I mean, what would you do if somebody called you? Like, you knew it was legit, but if you found out you inherited a castle, what the fuck am I going to do with a castle?
I mean, the thing is, like...
Telling me for it.
Yeah, it is like 2020. Like, you could do all this shit online. Just fucking sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
You could sell it for, like, fucking pennies on the dollar and still make $1 million.
Go to fucking Latvia, look at a castle.
That you can't see.
What am I supposed to do with that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can't even see it. It makes even less of a point.
And she brings John, who, in one of the sillier scenes in the movie, they're kind of entering the castle for the first time, and she's sitting there, and she's like, will you describe it to me, John? And John looks at this butler guy, Marco, who will come into play later. He basically says, I forget exactly what he says, but he's basically like, listen, she's poor. She doesn't get it. she doesn't understand castles. Don't worry about her. Like one of the shittiest scenes. And Becca is sitting right there. Also, Becca is hearing shit they don't. The fucking old Matthew Murdoch situation.
Yeah, heightened hearing senses.
Yep. And a fucking cane that turns into a whip. That's not true. But I wish it was. The caretaker explains what happened with the last owner of the castle. And then, like, him and John are talking, and John's like, come on, man, give me the details of what happened to that bitch. And this fucking Marco's like, oh, listen, is she, what is the word? Flagellated herself?
Yeah, self-flagellation.
Yeah, and John's like, I don't know what the fuck that means. So instead of just being like, hey, she whipped herself to death, the caretaker's like, hang on one second. Pulls off his belt and starts whipping his own back and being like, huh? In a scene that lasts like 30 seconds and does not need to last that long.
Could have literally just used his words. I would have gone home so fast.
Dude, and he was just staring him dead in the eyes while he's whipping himself and being like raising his eyebrows like, get it? Get it? John's like, listen, we can't tell Becca about this. Insanity. Also, Marco, for some reason, is like, you guys should live here. But not enough for us to, like, get a hint of it as an audience. Just kind of, like, not kind of. Just actually twice in the movie. He's like, did you ever think about living here? And they're both like, no. And that's the end of it. Becca starts having some wild visions of the nun and Baghead Castle Freak. Yeah. John is again like, oh, and this is when John like starts behaving like a normal boyfriend. Like she wakes up and she's like, I had a nightmare. And John's like, hey babe, sit down. I made you breakfast. Like,
yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? What? This guy literally was one scene earlier was like, this poor piece of shit doesn't know anything.
Doesn't John isn't he just trying to like butter her up because he wants
so John
to sell the castle?
Which, like, honestly, dude, the first time I watched this, I thought it was like flipped. I thought this was all John's shit because of the way he's like, yeah, she's a poor piece of shit. You know what I mean? I thought this was his castle.
Yeah. Like, why does he think he would get a dime from it? Yeah,
I don't understand. And John also reveals that his friends are coming. Those shitty friends from the party, because the girl's like, why them? Like, they're not our friends. They're just people we party with. And he's like, hey man, we need people to help unload stuff. I could not think of a group of people I'd rather not have unload things.
I can.
I mean, they're on par with our townie friends, but like, I don't need them. I'd rather just do it myself at that point. Hire townsfolk to do it.
Them showing up in a foreign country.
Oh my god. Just being, show up drunk, or if at all. I wanted to make another joke there, but I can't say it.
Same.
Join us on our Patreon chats for that shit. Dude, I'm telling you, we need to do Patreon, just like a Patreon series on that.
Done deal.
I guarantee you one of them will join, and then I will have to cancel that membership. Anyway, so their friends are coming. They tour the house, Becca and John. All the mirrors are broken. That is a la Castle Freak, the original, right? He loved breaking mirrors. I think that was also like one of the only things in the Lovecraft Castle Freak.
It breaks mirrors?
Yeah, it was like, dude, I gotta find it out. Back then,
that makes sense. Like, you know, he's ashamed of how he looks.
Yeah, I wish. How did I? I wish I had it. Anyway, yeah, he breaks mirrors. Also, they find a church in their tour with dead animals everywhere, and they're both like, "That's so fucking cool," which is weird because, like, the guy seeing it, okay, maybe somebody might say that. However, he's explaining it to his blind girlfriend. He's like, you won't believe it. There's fucking dead animals over here. And she's like, oh my God, that's so neat. What? Fucking rotting carcasses in your house? Like, what are you talking about? He also finds the cat of nine tails, but that he won't bring up to her. He like pulls it out and he's like, oh my God. And she's like, what is it, John? And he's like, oh, nothing. Just tell her it's another fucking dead animal and she'll be like, oh, yeah, cool. Oh, that's really neat. Becca and the caretaker now take a walk. And she's asking for adoption papers. She's a little fishy about this story, which, by the way, at this point, I still didn't understand that that this was her mom's castle. And he keeps getting them to try to stay. He's like, would you stay? Would you stay? And she's like, no. And they're taking a walk, and they get to this cliff with this gorgeous view of Albania. And she goes, sounds like a view. By the way, at the end of the movie, I swear they throw out her being blind entirely.
I would agree with that.
Dude, she's just like running around like grabbing people's hands that need to be grabbed, and it's just fucking weird as shit. Oh boy. What do we get? Oh, we get a double lady J-off scene next.
Double lady J-off?
We get, so you don't know that the freak is a woman yet.
Oh, but you will.
But you will. You will very, very soon. But in this scene, Becca is banging John. They're going at it. And or wait, no. I'm sorry. They're not. Becca's sleeping and starts masturbating in her sleep to visions of the nun who is fucking her whip, masturbating with her whip. And Castle Freak is watching both, and Castle Freak's masturbating.
Imagine watching the first Castle Freak and just being like, we need to sexualize Castle Freak way more.
No, this is the most really sexual movie we've ever done.
Sean, there's a sex scene where you see full-on penetration, which I can't honestly remember the last time I saw a non-porno that showed that. Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, it was a porn angle. It was the behind Cowboys.
Yes.
How do you not put a sheet over that?
Dude, I honestly I couldn't believe it. Like fucking zooming on his nutsacks and him actually inside of someone. Doing that for Castle Freak.
Joe, you see his butthole and fucking balls. Oh my God. It's fucking unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Oh my God. But in this scene, Castle Freak's jerking off. And we don't know, we don't know whether it's we don't know its pronoun, right?
Right.
He, she,
it honestly
it.
Shouldn't have anything.
It shouldn't, but it does. It fucking most definitely.
Castle Freak is so fucking horny in this movie.
Dude, the horniest monster of all time.
which in this movie's defense, fucking makes sense. It fucking makes sense. Because like, what if you were trapped in a castle for years? Like, of course you are. Quite frankly, more monsters should be horny.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, so here's the story of the outsider. I finally found it. The story involves a man leaving his dungeon for the first time in years. Everyone he meets flees in terror, and he eventually sees his own distorted body after finding a mirror.
Okay.
That's the perfect reaction. So nothing about the Castle Freak is accurate except
there's a dungeon.
He sees his reflection and hates it. Nothing about it is accurate.
All right.
Okay, perfect. So Castle Freak starts jerking off. This scene was fucking horrifying. Because you hear Castle Freak, like, the fucking noises, and, like, you hear, like, the sploosh at the end. It's like, and then Castle Freak is like, ah, and, like, fucking walks away. Like, you see it, like, right? Like, you don't see him doing it, or it doing it, but you hear it, and then he just, like, kind of, like, slinks away tired.
It's disgusting. Also, my biggest problem with this is, like, you would smell Castle Freak at any point in time that he... Because Castle Freak enters the room so many different times, and nobody's ever, like, gagging, right? You would smell it.
Joe, I've had mice, like a mouse in the fucking wall, and then spring comes, and then you're like, what the fuck is that stink? It stinks up the whole fucking house. You can't fucking get rid of a dead mouse in the wall, and you're like, oh my god, we gotta live with this for like 3 fucking weeks. Castle Freak is gotta smell 10 times worse than that.
Yes. Yes. Dude, as soon as it enters the room, like, your senses would be going off and be like, the fuck? The fuck is that?
Oh my god. This was actually also when I discovered that Becca's mom was the nurse, so I finally figured out what was going on. And yeah. So we get our first Cinemax pornog scene, and again the freak is beating off again, making the most loud, insane fucking noises while he's watching Becca fuck John. And again, you hear the sploosh, and it's actually more alarming because you think it's a male Castle Freak, like in the original. Although, was the original a male? I guess not.
You don't know.
I guess you don't know. But anyway, I always assumed it was a guy. So like, I'm imagining like a huge fucking load with that giant sploosh, right? But
Yeah.
turns out.
That's just a squirt.
Dude, in my notes, I have a question to ask you, whether you think Castle Freak's a squirter or not.
Castle Freak's 100% a squirter. Castle Freak is the biggest vagina I've ever seen.
It's also on its stomach.
Dude, it is it though, or it just goes up that high? Because I think it starts like a normal
I think you
vagina.
might be right. I think you might be right.
But like the lips go all the way up to his belly button.
Oh my god.
Why did they do that?
Why is anything happening?
If anyone could give me a good reason as to A, why they gave it a vagina, and B, why they gave it that big of a vagina, please let me know.
The answer is simple. After giving it no sex organs and no butthole, they had to fucking
To make up for it.
I can't even think of the word. They had to overcompensate. They had to overcompensate for 0 holes, and now gave it the biggest one giant hole.
Oh my god.
Castle Freak. We finally get our first Castle Freak encounter, which is Becca cutting her arm on a fucking Cthulhu statue. And the freak saves her from the statue crashing on her. But she's just like, ah! And I'm like, how does she even know something was there, you know? And then John shows up and the freak disappears and she's just like, there's somebody here. And John's like, stop being an idiot. John, we also get our first Castle Freak murder scene here. Because John calls the caretaker of the state, who is now John's drug dealer, I guess. John calls him and is like, I need my stuff. And Marco's like, don't worry, I'm going to send over a doctor. They send over a fucking drifter. This guy's not a fucking doctor. Also, imagine being in Albania and thinking like your wires are tapped, so you have to like talk in fucking code. John's like, hey, I need a re-up of my medication. And Marco's like, oh, okay, I'll send over a doctor. Albania doesn't give a fuck what you're fucking doing. Anyway, they send over a drifter who gives John his drugs. And then John thinks it's smart to leave said drifter in the fucking dungeon basement. Because the drifter's like, hey man, I want to shoot up. And John's like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, that's the rules. And John's like, well, all right. He's like, he goes, oh, just be quiet leaving. You're in a fucking castle. Like, you're probably a mile away in the other room.
From everyone else, yeah.
And your girlfriend's blind. Anyway, so he thinks it's a good idea to leave this fucking vagrant shooting up heroin in the basement. It's not, because the castle freak shows up a split second later. The castle freak doesn't even, this guy shoots up and that's it. And then castle freak shows up and that's it. And the guy, castle freak stabs him with the heroin needles, but castle freak doesn't push in the plunger. But for some reason, this guy just starts vomiting anyway, as if it's an overdose. But anyway, and then castle freak breaks his arm in half for no reason and stabs him with 3 more needles, including 1 in each eyeball.
Yes.
No one will find this body, so it doesn't matter.
Just for our viewing pleasure.
So what happens when you put a guy that does special effects in charge?
that honestly, you're 100% right. The guy's just like, listen, I gotta showcase my talent somewhere.
Can we just kill this guy and it means nothing to anybody at any point in this movie? Okay, cool, let's do it. John's friends all show up, including Shelley, who was John's Thotsky from the original scene, the opening scene.
Yes.
And she's still all about it, which is weird because this is Becca's castle. And they also keep calling it John's castle. Dude, actually, I didn't even think about that when I was doing it. She's like, oh, he's got a castle. And then later, the 2 guys are like, why did he get all the girls? And one of them's like, he's got a castle. He doesn't have shit. This guy's a fucking idiot loser. Made his girlfriend go blind. Can't think of anything less attractive.
Imagine owning a castle is the reason that you're getting girls.
I mean,
they got a castle.
Oh, he's got a castle in his girlfriend's name. God. Oh, and also Shelley and Becca have a showdown. Becca shows up and is like, "Oh, Shelley's here." And Becca says that. And then Shelley's like, oh, hey, Becca, you look so cool. Talking about her, blind girl glasses. I've never seen anything so disrespectful in my life. Well, the professor finds the Necronomicon just abruptly. Also, he's like, oh, this is the fucking Latin edition. And somebody's like, hey, can you read Latin? He goes, of course.
Dude, he fucking studied at Miskatonic University.
Dude, name dropped Miskatonic University, which I was like, okay, Lovecraft, I get it. But then later in the movie is wearing a Miskatonic University t-shirt. Honestly, fucking pissed me off. Pissed me off so fucking fast.
So funny.
So fucking ridiculous. Oh my god. We get it. We get it. Oh my god. Marco, I think this is Marco, is spying on Shelley being naked. Bathing.
Don't remember.
I don't know, but I thought he also got killed by Castle Freak, which is not true because Marco's saved later in the movie. I don't know, but Castle Freak locks him up and fucks him up. And that's that.
Yes.
Somebody makes fun of the professor and is like, hey man, will you quit fucking geeking out about this shit? And the professor goes, if the pursuit of knowledge is geeking out, then yes. He legitimately sounded like fucking Bloodstained Lane in that scene. If the pursuit of knowledge is geeking out, yeah, I guess I am doing that.
It says it right here. Right here. Dude, all of his videos but we're talking about Bloodstained Land now. All his videos are pointing to one like line in the Bible. It's like right here it says this, and he just reads exactly what it says. He's like, see, I've been telling you. It offers no insight.
No insight, and the line is honestly like, and then John went to the shepherd and said, "Hey, can I have my sheep back?" And he's like, "See that? That fucking proves the demons are inside all these fucking people." What the fuck? What are you talking about? And then John goes over to Mary and says, hey, take it easy. That proves it all. You fucking demonic Jezebels.
Remember when he shared his handwritten notes? I honestly look like the fucking Zodiac Killer.
100%. It was fucking terrifying. Yeah, hey, just noting the Bible tonight. Fucking the most terrifying shit I've ever seen. Most terrifying shit I've ever seen in my whole life. Speaking of demonic Jezebels, we go to the town gypsy. And they go to her for answers about what's going on in the house. And she's like, listen, I'm not going to go up there because it's evil. And she also says that the spawn of that woman is a monster. And John's like, hey, that's my fucking girlfriend who I'm looking to cheat on shortly. And then the gypsy's like, yeah, well, she's a fucking beast. And they're like, okay. And then they leave. And that's fucking all they get from her. We cut back to Castle Freak, who has Marco tied up. And this scene, it appeared that Castle Freak rubbed poop on his face and then bit him. And I was like, that can't be true, but it makes for a funny bit on the show. Joe, there is a scene later where I'm like 90% sure. I wrote down the timestamp. Everyone can go check. I'm 90% sure it's a shot of poop next to Marco. And so I do think the Castle Freak picked up poop, smeared it on Marco's face, and then bit his face.
All right, send me that timestamp. I will watch it.
I will.
After this recording.
I will. Oh, it's right here. It's 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 44 seconds. I will message it to you.
Okay.
I will message it to you. Dude, I'm like, because it's a shot of the chains next to Marco, and then it cuts immediately to Marco. It cuts close up of the chains and a pile of dookie, and then it cuts immediately to Marco, and when Marco's rescued in that scene. So I'm like 90% sure Castle Freak smeared poop on Marco's face and then ate it. ate his face and the poop.
Classic Freak.
For some reason, it shared a screenshot of the timestamp for you, but whatever. Yeah, Classic Freak is right. The Friends party like it's 1980, but again, it's super uncool in 2020, just like smoking, chain smoking. And like the other girl, Shelly, like starts smoking and drinking. John's like, there's a woman that knows how to have fun. By the way, they're all just laying on the couch. Like, what is fun to you exactly? Because you guys are doing fucking nothing.
They would honestly fit in so well in our hometown.
Oh yeah, 100%. If they watch this, they'd be like, "Who's the bad guy?" Pretty sure fucking Becca's the bad guy. Fucking boar. Becca the boar.
dude, Sean, that's 1,000% what they would think.
Blind
Becca's the unreasonable one.
Why isn't she drinking? Do it! Anyway, Shelly's like, hey, will you give me a tour of the castle? Which they do, and leads to the greatest scene in movie history. We start out with some sucking cocaine off titties, which...
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
Oh, no, go on. I just want to talk about the... finale of
the finale of this scene. Sucking cocaine off titties, very 80s thing to do. I get it. No, I mean, I don't get it. It's not a thing that I would ever care to do. However, it's whatever. Because in the 80s, it was like big fake plastic boobs, right? That were basically tables that you could snort rails off of.
You can cut a line on it.
You got like 2 lines on
it. Slide off, yeah.
Doesn't work here. I'm sorry. She just kind of like drizzles it all over her chest. Fucking this guy's just like, and just fucking snorts it up. She uses her underwear as a blindfold, which would not be effective.
See right through it. You're right. You see right through it. Yeah. It's like lace, right?
Right. Now, he starts getting sucked off. These scenes are so unbelievably graphic. It's so fucking ridiculous. Why didn't they just make a porn?
A Castle Freak porn parody?
Dude, upload it to Pornhub. I bet you they would have gotten more... Like, if they were like, the first porn horror movie, you know what I mean? Like, officially released on Pornhub, I feel like they would have gotten more clout that way.
Dude, I heard Pornhub's like pretty much shut down now.
They deleted like all the, like...
You can't upload your own shit?
Yeah. Probably for the best.
It's definitely for the best. Fucking kidding me?
Well... John starts getting sucked off here. And Castle Freak is watching him get sucked off. And it's like the most graphic suck-off scene I've ever seen in a fucking movie. Including Shelly like coming up for air and being like, ugh, rubbing her fucking mouth.
I mean, these guys are really like doing it, right? Because as we were talking about, we see the full penetration. Like,
I mean, they have to be, Joe. And I remember, like, so before the penetration happened, I remember... watching the suck-off scene and being like, do you think this was real? And I do. I genuinely believe it was real.
That guy definitely got ahead.
Shelly starts riding him on top. And we get, like, butthole and balls action from John. We get a behind shot of John having sex with her. There's no sheet over her. It is just full-out sex.
Yeah.
Anyway, Castle Freak's seen enough. She shows up, and this is when we learn she's a she. She breaks her neck, in possibly the loudest...
Shelly's neck.
Shelly's neck. In the loudest possible neck-breaking scene of all time. And John's like, hey man, why are you stopping? Why are you stopping, babe? And then
which again goes back to the smell part. Like now she's like super close.
Yeah,
you're right. It was the loudest neck breaking scene ever. You would know something's wrong. Like even if you didn't think somebody broke her neck, you would know something snapped.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? What just happened?
And you'd especially see through a pair of underwear that something was amiss. Castle Freak then sucks. Castle Freak sucks John's dick with that rotten ass mouth. Like, listen. Listen. Everyone has their own thing what they get off to or whatever. I'm not saying like sucking dick is not enjoyable for women, but I think in most cases, if a woman had a choice, she'd probably skip that step. And Castle Freak being a woman would most definitely not suck this guy's dick.
But dude, I honestly agree with your point because Castle Freak has not gotten laid in fucking God knows if ever, right?
Ever.
like Castle Freak would just want to feel some stimulation, right? Like
right.
Why would that be? Also, Castle Freak eats people. Like why wouldn't she just eat? Why wouldn't she just eat the dick off? Like, why is she trying to pleasure this guy?
Castle Freak not only eats people, but for some reason in every scene, every person she kills, she doesn't like eat them or save them. She just kind of like nibbles on them, like takes one bite and is like, I'm good. Like it's such a weird thing to add at this point in the movie. Like,
also, Castle Freak's mouth has like 90% razor teeth. Like the sharpest, like missing part of the lips and everything. Like there's nothing that would be enjoyable about that.
Oh my god! Then Castle Freak mounts John
Dude, Castle... Can we... I can't emphasize enough how big Castle Freak's vagina is. Castle Freak's labia... like you know the term roast beef flap. It's honestly like what the Grinch steals. You know when they say like the Grinch stole the roast beef. It's like that big, like a fucking roast beef that you would cook in a pan.
It's a fucking Dr. Seuss roast beef. This is a Dr. Seuss vagina.
It's so fucking big, and the fact that this guy doesn't know there's a difference between what was just on top of him and then the freak.
Like, you wouldn't, like, again, the smell, everything about it would fucking... Oh my god.
I didn't even think of that, but when I was talking about the smell, I was just talking about Castle Freak in general, but like...
The smell of the gaping Castle Freak.
A wet... Dude, a wet vagina. Never been washed. How gross.
Oh my god. All this to be said is John wakes up shortly thereafter. We get a few cutaways to other scenes that we'll talk about in a minute, but John wakes up, but somehow doesn't know what's happening. And he's like, help me, what's going on? Which, like, if you didn't know what was happening to begin with, why would you even be scared? I'd be like, oh, Shelly just left me here, like foreplay or some shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the two other bros show up, and they find dead Shelly and John covered in blood. And John, this was a twist I did not see coming. John's like, whoever fucking did this is gonna pay. And the rest of the movie for these three characters is them trying to fight the freak because he killed the group Thotsky.
Right.
Which is a weird fucking plot to a movie. Meanwhile, Professor and Becca, they're together, right? Because they're trying to investigate this whole thing. They find the secret passage because the professor's like, hey, where'd you find this book? She's like, my closet. And he's like, I bet you there's a clue there. And then the closet's just a fucking stairwell. There's lit candles and books, so they know somebody's been around, but they don't know who. And we learn, oh my God, this was the weirdest part. The professor narrates for 5 minutes, the backstory of these people, where he's like, there's twin girls, the mom was impregnated to open the gates to bring back the old ones, who he kind of briefly explained before were monsters, but that's fucking it. And they had to separate the twins to protect them or some shit. And then they'll have to bring them together to bring back the old ones or something. It really made no sense. But don't worry, because Becca, immediately after he explains all that, explains it again. Except this time being like, hey, I think my grandpa raped my mom and had deformed baby. Wonder who that could be. And Professor's like, I don't know anything about that. That's the end of the scene. And then, by the way, the end of the movie where the professor is in on all of this makes no sense why he'd be assisting them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, you know, Castle Freak just gave a blowjob, so who fucking cares?
This was the Dookie and the Chains thing where we find Marco chained up next to his poop. And Marco's like, so the bumbling bros, those bros, they show up to find Marco. And Marco's like, it's the freak that lives here. And John's just like, I'll be damned if some inbred freak bitch runs me out of my castle.
That's honestly what he says, right?
Yeah, it's word for word. It's word for word.
Because I remember that line being like, what?
Instead of being like, oh my God, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
I'll be damned if that bitch runs me out of my castle. Yeah. Meanwhile, the townspeople are all coming out, talking about a prophecy. What could be happening there? We don't know. We're about to find out. The professor and Becca are trying to get their way back. They're in the darkest tunnel of all time, and they hear the bros like being like, help! And professor's like, gotta go, and just leaves a blind girl in a fucking dark tunnel. Hearing shouting that he's probably heard all night. Because again, imagine putting our friends up in a castle. Like, all you'd hear is screaming. You'd never be able to take any of it seriously.
Agree.
You just have to ignore all of it at some point. Anyway, the freak shows up. And Becca's like, you're my sister.
Trying to reason with the freak.
We're trying to reason with the freak, which is not the first scene where somebody tries to reason with the freak. And the freak disappears and she's on the run. Because she's now an expert hunting animal. She's like smelling the fucking tracks and shit. Like if you believe in evolution, like something locked up in a fucking cave is not going to gain sense of smell. There's nothing fucking to eat. Castle Freak absolutely annihilates the two friends. And again, like kind of takes a bite out of one and just like, is like, all right, I'm good. And then fucking leaves. Oh, but that one, he eats one of the friends while he's still alive. And I thought that was a cool scene.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrifying. Somehow the professor finds the freak. While she's having some type of conniption in the fucking walls. She's freaking out. And the professor's just able to talk to her for some reason and is like, oh, look, I got a book. Show me everything. The giant vagina opens up and shoots out a tongue that wraps around his neck. The professor says, I can see it. I can see everything. Which maybe this is when the professor turns. Maybe.
But like, what? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, so was that a tongue? Because I was unsure if it was supposed to be also a dick.
No. Okay, so there's two differences. There's very differences because later we'll see something similar and it's different.
Okay.
There's a peen and a vagine in this movie. There's a freak peen and a freak vagine in this movie, and they're
in the cult scene, right?
Right. And the cult scene, the penis might be even more alarmingly inaccurate than the giant vagina. And defying of like any purpose.
Your theory's 100% right. The people were like, listen, the first time we did the freak wrong by not giving it any genitalia, so we just got to make the most exaggerated fucking sex organs of all time.
I bet you Danzig loves this movie, by the way. I'm pretty sure this is the cover of Danzig 3. All right. Also, during this giant vagina scene, they start cutting to Becca, who's having visions, and it's like, oh, wait, this is it. This is the scene. This is the scene with the penis. Wait, because at first I was like, why are you cutting? Don't cut to Becca. Let's just see some more of this fucking giant vagina shot. Because it's so fucking ludicrous. And then the visions turn out to be her great-grandpappy, who has a scorpion penis. He also has a hole. He's a castle freak, right?
Right.
Except with a metal plate on his face and a beard.
And a beard.
And his hole opens up a peen, but it is the lady tongue is soft and round. The male thing is a peen, like a scorpion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you hear everything that you're saying right now?
Yeah. And
Somebody put that on paper.
By the way, he rapes a nun with that penis. With a scorpion penis, he rapes a nun and then dies. Oh, the scorpion penis had a mouth. It like opened and shut.
None of this makes sense.
Oh man. We also learned that Marco killed the mom. Wah, 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 which was like probably the least like revealing thing of all time. Like you always kind of figured it was this fucking piece of shit.
Of course it was Marco, yeah.
And he purposefully united the sisters to bring back the old ones or something. And again, this goes back to why wouldn't the nun just kill the freak?
Yeah, the elder ones, right?
Yeah.
Or ancient ones. Something.
Yeah. Well, but why wouldn't the nun just kill the freak if she knew this shit was going to happen? I know it was her fucking kid, but like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
End of the fucking world. And it's a monster, by the way.
Yeah, Sophie made a choice for far less. You know?
Oh my god. Also, Marco's about to kill John, but the freak comes and saves him by thumbing out Marco's eyes. You know what, freak? Too little, too late for these cool kill scenes. You know, like, this whole movie's a fucking mess. And again, like, you know, give me the teen movie where the freak just kills a bunch of teens in crazy ways. That would be cool.
Agreed.
John gets away and he's outside and he's like, "Hey, freak." The freak jumps out on command. And they go to like a They Live style brawl.
Roddy Piper versus Keith David. Yeah.
Dude, it's unbelievable. They're like fist fighting in the fucking moonlight. It's absurd. And then John has the audacity to be like, "This is for Shelly," and pissing me off. Freak's about to bludgeon John, but they're both overtaken by something. The freak and Becca, right? Yeah. They're kind of like out of body experience, which gives John the ability to start killing the freak, and Becca stops him. She's like, "She's my sister."
Yeah,
like,
spare it. Dude, that's like my least favorite trope ever. It's like, yeah, I know you're related. You know nothing about them. And that's also, in this case, it is a fucking murderous freak. Like,
dude,
give me a break.
It's below get them, cuz, or whatever the fuck happened to them.
Do you think, cuz?
Do you think? Yeah, we know it's your fucking cousin. Like, stop it.
You have no connection to the fucking person.
Also, if your sister doesn't have a butthole, like, kill her.
Yeah.
All right, John's about to kill Becca, but she fucks him up with the mace that's kind of been, like, passed around this movie. And John's done. Now comes the finale, the grand finale. John's dead. Becca's alive. The freak's alive. They appear to be very sympathetic with each other.
Yes.
Right? The freak shows up. She's looking super sympathetic. And then crushes John's head like a fucking grape. And then the freak is like, by the way, again, Becca is fucking blind. And the freak can't speak, but is motioning to her like, let's go. Well, Becca's sitting there. And then we start seeing some shit going down. The clouds turn red and purple. The gypsy looks up and is like, "Oh my God." And a cult has descended upon the castle. And now the professor is the leader of the cult. And also, Becca's not blind anymore because she's just kind of walking around, like grabbing the freak's hand and shit. Her and the freak join hands at the top of the castle. And the professor's reading some incantation. The storm's brewing. Castle Freak's pink sock falls out. Her fucking tongue just fucking flops out of her vagina. And then Becca falls and appears to be giving birth. Joe, this was the scene I did not notice when I watched it the first time.
That she's giving birth?
Yeah. Well, not that she's giving birth, but that an eye pops out of her fucking vagina. And that's how they end the movie.
Dude, because Yog-Sothoth is coming.
Who the fuck is Yog-Sothoth?
Some asshole.
Yog-Sothoth is a cosmic entity, and you know what, man? This fucking... Oh, it is Yog-Sothoth. Yog-Sothoth has like 8 million eyes.
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. That's what's happening. They fulfilled the prophecy. Now Yog-Sothoth is coming. Or however you say his stupid name.
I'm so infuriated.
Dude, I actually like that part.
Dude, by the way, there's like these incantations written. I'm on a H.P. Lovecraft website. Dude, this is the first word of the incantation. Why would you even read this fucking book? Sorry, Justin Laura. This book is fucking ridiculous. Here's what the first line of the incantation is. Y apostrophe AI apostrophe NG apostrophe NGAH. Yanga. Fucking kidding me? It's not words. You know what? I'm gonna start writing movies and fucking books because apparently it doesn't take a whole fucking lot. Yog-Sothoth knows the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the gate. Yog-Sothoth is the key and guardian of the gate.
Dude, don't finish it. You're gonna fucking
past, present, and future. Joe, you think this is gonna make fucking sense?
Dude,
you think
you're gonna open the realm?
Past, present, and future all are one in Yog-Sothoth. He's known where the old ones broke through of old, and where they shall break through again. He knows where they have trod earth's fields, and where they still tread them, and why knowing. Okay, I've read enough. Jesus fucking Christ. Well, congratulations, Fangoria. You made a piece of shit.
Which I like this new bit at the end of each episode. Would you recommend people watch this?
This is a tough one. I think I'd say yes.
The answer's 100% yes. The Castle Freak has a fucking vagina. Of course you should watch.
And there's a Castle Freak penis that looks exactly like the vagina, but it's most definitely different. Oh boy. All right. And that's Castle Freak 2020. Glad we did it. I was super excited to talk about it.
Definitely.
Next week, I've got some movies listed for next week.
All right.
Now, some of these are coming out of our old list that we had done for October. And I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe we do some of these. I have The Children, which was not on the list, but it's a newer movie. It's like 2009, I think. And it's about kids that kill their parents. Always a fun topic, but it takes place in winter. That's the only reason I have it down. Project Metal Beast.
Assault.
Extra.
I love Extra.
Slaughter High.
I do not love Slaughter High.
Okay. Parents.
I love Parents.
And From Beyond, starring sweaty Jeff Combs, and another Stuart Gordon flick.
There's another Lovecraft.
Yeah.
The answer is Project Metal Beast.
All right, we're doing Project Metal Beast. Let's just do it.
Fucking thank God. I've been wanting to do this for years.
Dude, you know what? Like, I know we've already talked about it, that we're not doing, like, Patreon picks or whatever, but, like, it really came to me today. I was like, wait, we can just do movies we like or want to talk about.
Yeah, you know we're both going to regret that. Because I've wanted to do Project Metal Beast for literally years since I ever heard the title. And as soon as I hit play, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? Why? I do this every fucking time.
We also have to choose a day for our YouTube, our live show. Do you want to do a live show or a watch along? Should we leave it up to the Patreon?
Yeah, let them vote. All
right, we'll let them vote for what we'll do.
I'll do whatever. I mean, we just did the live show, so you might want to switch it up for like.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
It's the same
call
shit.
Whatever. Dude, we can call them whatever we want. We're just gonna get drunk and talk over it and not do anything we planned anyway.
Talk about mayhem and shit. Bring Paul up. All right, we'll put that in, and maybe we can do that on I don't know, maybe I don't know. I'll see what your schedule's like.
Okay.
All right. And that's it, guys. So thank you so much. Again, merch is up. Pre-order ends the 17th. That's store.ihatehorror.com or shop.ihatehorror.com. Doesn't matter. It'll both take you there. Check it out. The sweatshirts are pre-order only. Pins are super limited edition. So make sure you get on that. And what else do we have? Facebook.com/ihatehorror. Instagram.com. No. We're at Instagram at ihatehorror. We're at Twitter at ihatehorrorshow. But like, I just gotta say this real quick. Twitter is the fucking worst, dude. And I know we've said it before, but I like have hopped on a few times recently and like spent a night like looking at it, and it fucking infuriates me. It's the most fake heady bullshit I've ever seen. And it makes me appreciate Instagram so much more because it's just fucking ridiculous dumb memes, right?
Oh yeah, I don't even log on to my Twitter anymore.
Dude, people on fucking Twitter are like, oh, did you know Avatar is like an anti-capitalist movie? Never bet you thought of that before. Of course it is. It's the fucking theme of the movie. Like, fucking kidding me? Like, everyone thinks that every thought is fucking genius fucking thought. It fucking infuriates me, dude. Oh my God, it's awful. It's awful.
I agree.
Follow us on Twitter at ihatehorse. Joe, where can they find you?
Instagram, Boognish1985.
That's it, guys. And thank you all so much. Oh my God, the support was crazy. The reaction to our end of days episode was so positive, and really, I was shocked. The impressions were awful, and everyone was like, that was great impressions. And I was like, I don't think you listened to the episode. But it was really appreciated. We got a lot of great comments on that, and people being like, please do more Arnold movies. And a lot of people being like, dude, it's so funny to think about, like, Arnold's voice was a fucking joke for, like, it was like a fucking punchline for anything.
Yeah, and I think we said it on the episode, because I've been thinking about it since we did the episode, about how ridiculous it is just that this guy sounded foreign. Like, it's the most like accepted form of like xenophobia of all time.
It really is. Like, get it? He can't say words like us. Fucking idiot. Oh my God. Anyway, he's you know, he's made a career of it, so who's laughing now? Now he's got like a donkey and a horse.
Yeah, he does.
All right. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. And thank you for everyone that's already ordered. It's insane. Still watching orders fly in. It's absurd. So that's it. And next week, Project Metal Beast. So excited. So thank you guys. And for Joe, this is Sean. Stay weird.
Thank you.
Adios.
I dissect. Movies all fucking day.
I wanna play.
I'm gonna watch what I'm not supposed to watch. A fucking zombie getting sliced and diced. The monster.
Mutilate.